Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here then welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. We are going to be creating this beautiful look. We're going to be using the Cosmic Beauty 'Tis the Season collection, using one of their blushes, lipstick, and this beautiful eyeshadow palette. I am so excited to create this look. I did actually pick up this collection on a really good sale over the summer, and I did create a video that was a Christmas in July look because I was just so excited to get to use this collection, and I wanted to go ahead and use it over the summer. And so if you are interested in seeing that video, my initial thoughts about the collection, then definitely check out the link in the description box below. But today, because we are getting into December and things are getting colder outside, I've got my snowflakes on, and definitely we are getting ready for Christmas. So I really wanted to take some time, just dive back into this collection and really create a beautiful wintry Christmassy look with you. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. To start out this look, I did go ahead and apply my blush. I used the blush from this collection, the 'Tis the Season Cosmic Beauty collection. In the collection, there were two blushes. The first one is this one. It's called Mary, and this is a really pretty red shade. Very perfect for the Christmas season and just the holiday time. I did not use this one today just because this look is going to be a little more on the neutral side. So I went in with this one. This one is called Nutmeg, and this one is definitely kind of a nice light brown, much more neutral. So you can see here, this is the shade that I used for my blush today. So it is really pretty. I really like the blushes. They are a nice cream base, so I went ahead and did that, set it with some setting powder, and I think it's a really pretty, just nice kind of light brown, just to give kind of a neutral glow to the cheeks. So now we are ready to go ahead and start diving into our eyeshadow look for today. I did go ahead and prime my eyes with my Ulta Beauty Pigment Pop Eye Primer. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into the palette itself. This is such a beautiful palette. It is so perfectly curated for Christmas. I love this color story. There's so many fun, bright colors in here, and I can't wait to go ahead and create a really beautiful look today. If you can tell from my dress, I'm wearing purple. I definitely really want to play with this row right here and really dive into some of these really rich, deep purples, make a really nice, bold look today. My dress is pretty simple, so we're just going to go ahead and really play with some of these deep, dark colors. So I'm going to jump in now with a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the deepest purple, this one right here, and this one is the namesake of the palette. It is called 'Tis the Season. So I'm just going to dip into this with my brush and going to apply this into the outer corners. So I'm just going to gently tap this in and start to kind of build up some pigment. It is such a beautiful, rich purple. I really love purple shades like this. They're so just deep and vibrant. So pretty. So I'm just going to put this all in the outer corner, just kind of using my brush just to pat it in, blend it around, and just really build up a deep, deep pigment here. So pretty. And I'm going to pull this a little bit into my crease as well. Just kind of starting to build up some color. I'm not really picking up more product on my brush. I'm just letting it just lightly kind of fill in, if you can see that there. Just a little bit of color across the crease. But I really want the dark pigment all the way in the outer corner so we can really start to build up this look. That is so pretty. I absolutely love that really deep purple. Now I do want to deepen up the outer corner just a little bit more. So I'm going to dip into this really dark brown here. This one is called Hot Chocolate. I love hot chocolate. That's one of my favorite drinks for this time of year. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what your favorite wintertime drink is. So I'm just going to grab some of this on that same brush without cleaning it off and just kind of deepen up just this outer edge right here. Just kind of on my eyelid in the outer corner, going just slightly up into the crease just to make sure everything is blended, but I mostly just want right here to be really deep and dark. So I'm just going to blend this in just a little bit into that 'Tis the Season purple shade and just really get a nice deep dark outer corner. That is so gorgeous. It is so deep and rich. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush, and we're going to add a little bit of lightness and continue blending this out. So my brush is all cleaned off. So now I'm going to dip into this light purple shade right here. This one is called Party. It is so pretty. It's a nice just kind of blending shade or transition shade. So I'm just going to pick up just a little bit of this on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of go around the outer edges of the shadows that we just put. Just kind of adding a little bit of color around it, a little bit of lightness, and just kind of blending out the edge of all of that dark shadow. It's really pretty. Putting just a little bit of color up towards the brow bone and just kind of blending it out just a little bit. And we can start to see it's just a little bit smoked out on the edge, a little bit less harsh than this side. So it's just giving just a little bit of kind of just a smoky sort of faded look, just to give it a little bit of softness. Tapping off my brush in between just so I don't have a whole lot of pigment, just enough just to blend it out. That is really, really pretty. I'm going to grab just a little bit more of that 'Tis the Season and kind of build up a little bit of pigment I lost on this side, just to make sure it's even on both eyes. And then I'm going to go back into that Party and just kind of blend that out again. That is really pretty. It's just a very light touch just to blend things out. Now I'm going to deepen up the inner part of the crease just a little bit, and I'm going to go in with this medium purple shade. This one is called Gifting. Such a pretty shade. I love all the names of these shades as well. They're so, so pretty. Again, I'm going to tap off my brush just a little bit, and I'm going to pull this just right into the inner part of my crease, just to kind of continue deepening things up and blending out. Not using a lot of product, just a little bit, just to deepen it up just a little. Alright, and then with that same brush, I'm just going to go back into that lighter Party shade, and I'm just going to kind of blend this right where we just put Gifting. Just to lighten it up just a little bit. Give kind of a nice little glow on the inner corner. You can definitely see the difference. It's really kind of blending and softening out that deeper Gifting shade. It's really giving it a nice lighter touch on the inner corner. It's so pretty. These are such beautiful, rich purples. They're blending together really nicely. So beautiful. I do want to make sure that I have a really deep and distinct outer corner. So I'm going to go back into 'Tis the Season just a little bit and just really softly deepen up the outer corner again. That is so pretty. I'm absolutely loving all of these mattes. Now let's go ahead and prime our eyes and we'll add some shimmer. I went ahead and applied some NYX glitter glue all over my eyelids, so now we're ready for our shimmers. I am going to go in with a flat Ulta Beauty eyeshadow brush, and I'm going into this beautiful deep purple shimmer. This one is called Baubles. And I'm going to apply this one directly on the center of my eyelids, just going ahead and just really giving a nice pop of purple on the middle. That is so pretty. Look at that already. That is so pigmented, so shimmery. It is beautiful. I'm just going to pat this all over the center of my lid and just kind of blending it up just a little bit into the mattes on my crease. I don't have any blank spots in between pigments. That is so pretty. That is such a beautiful shade. Wow. So I'm going to apply that also on the other side, right there in the center. That is such a beautiful shimmer. It almost has a little bit of a foil texture to it. It is so, so pretty when you apply it on the eyes. So now I'm going to use that same brush. I'm just going to flip it over to the other flat side, and I'm going to add a little bit of lightness. I'm going to go into this shade right here. This one is called Celebrate. It's a really pretty, just kind of champagne kind of color, perfect for the holidays, for the Christmas time and New Year. It's very, very pretty. And I'm going to apply this on the center part of my lid, or going towards the inner corner, I should say. Just kind of blending this into that bauble shade. And the reason I'm using both sides of the brush is so that way I can just kind of flip back over and dip back into that bauble shade, kind of pick some up and just rebuild that pigment and make sure everything is blended. So that way I can just kind of flip my brush back and forth and just pick up each color and just really blend them in together. That is so stunning. I absolutely love those shimmers together. They blended really nicely. I don't really have any harsh lines in between. They just definitely just kind of flow into each other. And to help with that just a little bit more and to add a little bit more purple back into this look, I'm going to go in with this very light purple shimmer here. This one is called Fairy Light. And when I was swatching this one, it's definitely very, very light. It doesn't have a whole lot to it in terms of its own kind of fill in shimmer, so I think it's going to be a really good topper shade. So I'm going to pick just a little bit of this up on my finger and I'm just going to kind of pat it over top these two just to give a nice purple lightness back into the shimmers. Just kind of blend everything together. That's so pretty. It is just so light. You can definitely see it adds just a little bit of iridescent to this look, just to really kind of lighten it up and give it a little shine. That is beautiful. I love those shimmers together. This is definitely a really good topper shade. I'm just very, very lightly tapping it over top of those. That is so, so pretty. So shimmery. This is such a beautiful and bold look. I absolutely love how this is turning out. For the lower lash line, I think because we have so much bold purple on this look, I do want to do a little bit more of a neutral shadow on the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with an Ulta Beauty flat liner brush, and I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's called Cookies. It's a nice kind of medium brown shade. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to pick some of this up on my brush, and I'm just going to line it all the way under my eyes, all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner, and just kind of create a little bit of a thick line with this. That is really, really pretty. It's kind of got a little bit of brown and a little bit of almost orange in it. Very, very pretty color. Like I said, I'm going to make a pretty thick line. I'm going to bring it down a little bit farther than I normally would. And just kind of make sure that it connects on the outer corner here, just kind of blending it out. So you can see I definitely added a lot of the eyeshadow and a lot of pigment under the eye there. Nice, bold, thick line. Alright, and now using that same brush without cleaning it off, I'm going to go back into that deep dark brown shade, that hot chocolate shade, and I'm going to go ahead and just go right over top that cookie shade, but I'm going to keep it a little bit of a thinner line so that way we can see the cookies shade underneath and just have a little bit of darkness above it. I'm keeping this much closer to the waterline, right along the lower lash line. Just kind of blending it over top, really deepening and darkening it up. And just using kind of soft back and forth motion so I can really blend those two shades together. So they're just one cohesive kind of ombre effect here. Pulling it up into the outer corner just a little bit, just so I don't have a harsh line there at the end. Everything is nice and blended. I definitely love a very bold lower lash line. I think it's so pretty. Especially when everything is really blended, it just looks so nice. It just adds so much depth and dimension and smokiness to your look. It's so pretty. That is absolutely stunning. So you can definitely see that cookies shade, we brought it down really low, so that way when we're blending the hot chocolate shade over it, you can definitely really see it and see both of those shades very well and how they're blending together. So just to lighten it up just a little and just to really finish blending it out, I'm going to go back to my fluffy blending brush. It has been cleaned off, and I'm going to go into this light neutral shade right here. This one is called Ginger. And I'm just going to pick just a little bit up on my brush, and I'm going to tap it off just to get rid of all that excess, and just very, very lightly and very gently, just back and forth motion, just kind of blend all this together just to make sure that everything looks really nice and cohesive. Not really trying to add any pigment. I'm just trying to kind of use that as a blending shade. And you can definitely see it's a lot more harsh and stark over here and a lot softer on this side. So that's the idea, just to really give it just a nice even blend on both sides. Just really making sure that the cookie shade and the hot chocolate shade kind of just look like one cohesive ombre shade. That is so pretty. I absolutely love how that looks. That is so just deep and dark on the bottom, and really just kind of helps to kind of even out the purples and really just pull this look together. So that is so pretty. So let's go ahead and pick a inner corner shade, and then we'll be finishing up this look. For the inner corner, I think I'm going to go in with a couple of different shimmers. I am going to go in with just a Real Techniques detailing brush, and I'm going to start out with this light shade that we used on that lid earlier, that Celebrate shade. I'm just going to pick a little bit of this up on my brush, and I'm going to give it a spritz of setting spray just so I can really make sure that the colors are pigmented and really shine on the lid. So give that a quick spritz, and I'm going to put this right in the inner corner. Just right in the center. And just kind of pat it in. And that is really pretty. It's so shimmery and shiny. Absolutely stunning. And then I think as I'm pulling that inner corner shade down into the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This one is called Candlelight. And just going to use that same brush, pick a little bit up. And I'm also going to give it a quick spritz of setting spray just to really help the pigment to shine on the lid. And I'm just going to use this and just kind of pull down just a little bit into the lower lash line from the inner corner. Just kind of blending that inner corner shade into those neutrals. I think that's really pretty. That's adding just a little extra glow to this look. And the Candlelight shade goes really nicely with that cookie shade that we use. Very, very pretty. So just kind of using back and forth motions, just blending it out so it blends into those mattes really nicely. I think that is so beautiful. I'm so happy with how this look turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and step off camera, add some of our finishing touches. We'll be back and we'll go ahead and do the lips together and finish out the video. And here's the completed eye look. I'm so happy with this. It is so pretty. For my details, I went in with my Wet n Wild Breakup Proof liquid eyeliner and did a really bold cat eye. And then for my tight lining on the top and in my waterline, I wanted to keep this look really bold. So I went in with my Ulta Beauty Collection Automatic Eyeliner in matte black. And then for my lashes, my Tarte Maneater Waterproof Mascara. So I just think this look is so bold. It is so pretty. It is absolutely stunning on the eyes. And I want to go ahead and include a really bold lip look as well. In this collection, there were two different lipsticks that were included. One of them is a little bit more of a neutral. This one is called Ginger Snap. And it's really pretty. It's just kind of a nice, almost kind of brown nude shade. But I think for this look, because I'm going so bold with it, I do want to go ahead and use this one. This one is called Santa Baby. It is such a pretty red, but it's a really kind of deep red. I don't think it's going to look too bright or overpowering with this look. I think it actually will look kind of neutral. Especially, I'm going to go ahead and pair it with a brown lip liner. So I'm going to go in with my Andrea Marie Cosmetics Rooted Lip Liner. This is just a nice deep brown shade. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this, and then we'll apply that lipstick. Alright, so we've got our lip liner on. Now we're going to go ahead and go in with that lipstick and just apply it right here in the center of the lips. That is so bold and beautiful. I absolutely love that shade. It is really, really pretty. I'm going to go back in with a little more lip liner and just really deepen out the edges. And that is absolutely stunning. I love how that turned out. I think that is really bold and beautiful to go with this eye look. And I'm just so happy with how this look turned out using the Cosmic Beauty 'Tis the Season collection. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below what your thoughts were about this look and about the 'Tis the Season collection. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more makeup tutorials, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.